Deliciously with Ara. Today we're gonna make JANGJORIM. To subscribe and like. So Koreans love to have banchan or viands or the side dishes. You know, when we go to Korean restaurants, you see like different servings of different kinds of viands that serves in one meal. And this one, we're gonna be using the beef and also the quail eggs. For the beef, we need to get the pinaka less fatty versions, the less fatty parts. Here I have is a sirloin, which I have binabad ko siya sa water just to remove yung parang blood, because having the parang blood on the meat kind of gives a distinctive parang aroma or unpleasant taste and smell on our meal. So it's good to always use the babad our meat on water at least like 3 hours, 3 to 5 hours, depending on the freshness of your meat, hanggang maging super pale na siya. So first, let's get our beef. Here I have 500 grams of sirloin. Any parts of the meat, basta hindi siya masyado mataba. As you can see, if you buy the carne, meron siyang parang strains or grains that you could see, then parang pahaba siyang ganyan. What you want to do is, we want to later on parang tear off our JANGJORIM, because that's what makes it very special. So don't cut against yung parang already niyang hiwa niya. So we're gonna just do like siguro mga an inch thickness para lang madali siyang maluto. And as you can see, yung mga kanyang natural parang strips niya, natural cut niya is retained. So later on when we cook it, we can just tear it apart. So this is around 500 grams or any part, basta hindi siya masyadong fatty. And we need to of course have quail eggs. These are around 30 pieces, but I recommend you can also use the big eggs. Kung ayaw ng quail egg, it's really up to your preference. Still, the sauce is the same. The cooking method is very easy. And first, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna prepare our ingredients yung ating quail eggs. So I have here a pot. Just gonna boil. We're gonna boil the quail eggs. And before siya mag-boil, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of both the rock salt and vinegar, para lang hindi siya masyadong mabasag and mag-retain, madali na mabalatan mamaya our quail eggs. I have here 1 spoon of rock salt and 1 spoon of vinegar. And then we're gonna drop in our quail eggs right away. So when my quail eggs start, parang nagbabubble na yung water, nagbuboil na yung water, try to rotate it in one direction para gumit na yung kanyang yolk later on. I'm gonna use a spoon na lang. And it's very fast really to cook the quail eggs. Siguro mga 6 to 7 minutes, it will be already done. So around 4 more minutes. And we'll give a very quick bath on cold water and balatan natin siya. So by doing ng pag-iikot natin ng ating spoon in the pot, it will help retain a very pretty shape of our quail egg. It's super masarap. So after 5 minutes, I'm already gonna strain my quail eggs. And then, palamigin ko siya sa water para I can peel them off. And then, let's set this aside hanggang medyo lumamig na konti until we can peel this up. Before we proceed with our quail eggs, we're gonna first boil our meat. Ang ating meat na ginamit, which is a sirloin part, it's always best that we get rid of the blood. So therefore, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna boil it, give a quick boil for around 7 to 10 minutes, and then we're gonna strip them off to cook into our JANGJORIM. So on the pot, I just gave a quick rinse, and then I put fresh water so I can start boiling my beef. I'm gonna wait for the water to boil before I add in my beef. Stay tuned! So my water is boiling, then I'm gonna add in my beef, which already binabad ko na siya sa water for like around 3 hours. Still, just to get rid of all the impurities and whatever, you know, just to make it cleaner later. I'm gonna give a quick bath. Around 10 minutes on the boiling water. Must-try recipe! So like after 10 minutes, you can see na medyo lumalabas yung mga parang natitirang blood inside, nagkakaroon ng parang black bubbles beside. I don't want to have that on my JANGJORIM, so I'm gonna turn off my fire. Some worry na baka the taste of the beef disappears, but it really does not happen that quickly. So now I'm gonna give a quick rinse of my beef. Stay tuned! So for jangjorim, it's gonna be actually soy-based. So we need 1/2 cup and almost the same ratio of my sugar. But if you're not really fond of something very sweet, you can actually lessen the amount ng konti. But I have here basically 5 tablespoons of my sugar and 1/2 cup of my soy sauce. But that's a 1-to-1. So I'm on my pot. I'm gonna open it up now. I'm gonna actually add in my beef, which I've rinsed earlier after boiling. Just para lang mabilis yung oras ng pag I can actually already put in this way, but I'm just gonna give another half. But just making sure that the strands, the grains that you see is not affected. So dapat you can see na parang pahaba dapat yung ating pag-cut. And I'm gonna add in 1/2 cup of my soy sauce and 1 cup of my water. And another cup of my water. So basically, ang ratio niya is 1/2 soy sauce, 1/2 sugar, and 2 water. So that's gonna be your basis. And then I'm gonna add in my sugar already. And if you have cooking wine, it's also good to add around 1 tablespoon of cooking wine, although this is very optional. But because meron akong cooking wine, I'm gonna add just 1 tablespoon. And then, I'm gonna just boil this siguro mga 45 minutes. And while I'm waiting for this to boil, babalatan ko na yung ating quail eggs which we boiled earlier. So I already have here my quail eggs. And now, for those who wants to have a little bit of a spice kick, but you're not really confident na kaya nyo yung isang sili, what we can do is, we can cut them in like siguro like a 1/2 inch. And then, what we have to do is parang tanggalin niyo yung mga buto-buto because those are what makes it very spicy. Para it still helps us to have a little bit of a spice kick but hindi masyadong maanghang. So this is another trick that you can do. But if you really want the spiciness of this, syempre mas maganda you can also just use the whole thing. But this is another trick for those lang na talaga who's not really ayaw niya ng maanghang pero gusto niya ng konting kick. I remove the seeds. So I have here parang wala nang buto. I'm just gonna add a little bit of cold water. And then ibabat ko siya siguro mga 30 minutes para lang matanggal yung parang zing, the spiciness kick of the sili, but still having the wonderful taste of it. So this is totally optional. You can like do like this, but in the rest, sure pwedeng wag na rin. And then I'm gonna need like 1 whole clove of garlic. This is actually 1.5 cloves. And then I'm gonna use the buo. Except for those na talaga super malaki, I'm just gonna cut off the head lang. And I'm just gonna have those that's really big, but then the rest, I think this is good to be used as is. Tatanggalin ko na yung mga some brown parts on my garlic. Some prefer to have the garlic parang sliced or chopped, but I really want to use the whole garlic because when we boil the garlic, natatanggal yung parang spicy kick of it. And parang magkasing shape lang sila in the size with the quail eggs. It kind of makes it parang viscerally maganda rin, parang uniform ang kanilang tingin. And sometimes the kids, hindi nila alam na quail eggs or garlic, they can have a tendency to eat it. But don't worry because once we boil it, hindi siya manghang. And as my ingredients are ready, which I'm gonna just put it here after my beef is cooked, I'm gonna maghintay na lang tayo siguro mga 30 minutes more. It's super masarap. So after 30 minutes or so of boiling, it really depends on your pot and also your fire. You can see na may very tender na yung ating beef. I'm gonna just quickly turn it off. And then, kunin ko lang yung ating karne. Actually, some people just do it now, chop na nila agad. But the traditional way of eating the jangjorim in Korea is parang, instead of chopping them, kailangan parang torn. We remove the layers by layers with our hands. Parang mahahabang ang itsura yung ang ating traditional look of our jangjorim, and that's what I wanted. But of course, if you really just want to just have it chopped from the very beginning, you can also do it. So here, I already have my very tender beef. What I'm gonna do is palamigin ko ng konti hanggang kaya ko siya hawakan, and we're gonna tear this apart. Parang maliliit na slices. Kaya sinabi ko, diba, we don't have to cut against yung parang natural fibers niya. So we're gonna just tear this apart like this. The best is really hintayin nyo na lumamig, but if you're very like, you know, in a hurry like me, who cannot wait to just cook something very yummy, you can also use a fork. Parang siyang pulled beef. And then we're just gonna parang hiwalayin with our hands. And this is a great memory that I have with, you know, sa dati when we had like our grandparents' house. When we go to their houses, they normally make this jangjorim because they know that this is one of our kids' favorite side dishes. And then she would always like, you know, parang pinupull niya yung beef. And then this is what really gives me the parang childhood reminiscence. So I've already pulled all my beef like this. Kaya kanina sinabi ko na be careful not to cut against the natural fiber niya, or else when we pull them, magiging parang super maliliit na yung ating mga beef strips mamaya. And this one, I'm gonna add in back to our my sauce. And also when you look for the jangjorim beef, it's always good to use the non-fatty ones kasi ayaw natin maging masebo yung ating sauce because this is normally kinakain siya na malamig, naka-store sa ref. And of course, if it's very fatty, diba, it will have this layer of fat. So here, I'm gonna put this one back to my pot. So this is another magic. As you can see, parang dumami yung ating beef visually. And then after adding in my pulled beef, I'm gonna add in the quail eggs na kanina binalatan natin. And also my garlic. And then we're just gonna give a very soft mix lang. And then we're just gonna wait for it to boil hanggang maluto yung ating garlic. So as it boils, continue to keep stirring it very gently para lang ma-cover lahat ng sauce ng ating mga quail eggs and the garlic. So like after 10 minutes, once na medyo, you can feel na medyo lumambot na yung ating garlic, we can turn off the fire and we can serve it as is, or if you want to add a little bit of the chili kick on it, you can actually add now. So I'm gonna add a little bit of my chili. Give a quick stir. And I'm gonna turn off my fire. So earlier, pinakita ko sa inyo the ratio of my soy sauce and my sugar is 1:1. However, if you have like any rice syrup or corn syrup or cooking syrup, you can actually bawasan nyo na lang yung sugar level and just add a bit of your cooking syrup. That way, it gives an extra gloss. But because not everybody has cooking syrup, I just gave you the measurement using my sugar kanina. So this is optional as well. And for jangjorim, because it is a viand that you can store sa ref for at least a week, you have to get like an airtight container like this. And then we can pour our jangjorim on our container. And then palamigin nyo muna siya. And then put it on the ref. And every time you eat it, just serve na lang a little bit of a small serving. Or it is also a very great baon for our kids. So jangjorim is a perfect variant with our, of course, always the rice, the white rice. And if ever you're gonna be serving jangjorim on your table, dahil you can put this on your ref. And if ever it's gonna take you more than a week to consume your jangjorim, what you can do is just strain after a week, just to expand your shelf life. Strain nyo na lang yung sabaw, the soy sauce. Just give the soy sauce a quick boil and then pour it again. Then that will help again this jangjorim's lifespan, your shelf life to be longer than a week. But of course, I think this is too good not to be eaten in 1 week. And for you to serve it, just get a small viand bowl. And then we're gonna add parang generous amount of our beef, our quail egg, and of course the garlic na hindi masyado halata. And then also some green pepper. Must try recipe! Ta-da! So here is my jangjorim made with beef and my quail eggs. Very easy yet amazing to have in your own home. So hope you enjoy cooking with me. See you next time. Bye! It's super masarap. So jangjorim used to be my all-time childhood favorite baon and ulam. So you know, on the table, this is a perfect partner with kimchi. Get your beef and your quail egg. And one big bite. Hope you enjoy!